Are you interested in an entry-level full-frame mirrorless camera, but don't like what Canon or Nikon have to offer? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to talk about Sony's A5 and 4 new Samyang Cine lenses. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Simon. Thanks for tuning into The Ordinary Filmmaker. If you're new here, subscribe to get notification of new videos like this one so you don't miss out on any news, rumors, or tutorials. And all the links to everything I talk about in this video, including gear discussed and the Canon R5 contest giveaway details, are placed in the description down below, along with the affiliate links which help support this channel. So if you're looking into buying a camera, gear, or accessories, please consider using the links below. All right, let's get right down to today's news. We have leaked specification for the Sony A5 thanks to Sony rumors. As mentioned a few months ago, Sony registered WW850128, and Sony rumors believes this is the new Alpha 5. The A5 will have a similar design to other Sony APS-C bodies like the A6100. But enough rambling, let's get right into the specifications. This camera is capable of 5 frames per second. It's got IBIS, and it's capable of 4K 24, 25, and 30 frames per second at 10-bit. Now keep in mind, we're getting 100 megabits per second, so this is highly compressed. It's probably using Sony's long op. It also will do 50 and 60 frames per second in 4K, but that's going to be highly compressed. I'm not sure what the quality is going to be like in this video. I also would like to know, does this have a crop? If we look at the competition, we can see crops up to about 1.7 or 1.6 times, which is rather significant. So if this doesn't have a crop, it could put it ahead of the competition. All right, let's continue to look at the specs in terms of the design. The A5 is not going to have any pop-up flash, but it will have the ability to add an EVF with 770,000 pixels. It will support USB Type-C, and it's going to have a touch LCD screen similar to the Sony A7S III. Although it will only have one single SD card slot, it will have a headphone jack. It will have a mic in, it'll have built-in Wi-Fi and built-in Bluetooth. And as I mentioned earlier, it's going to have a similar design to the previous Sony APS-C cameras. So when is this camera expected? Well, Sony is expected to announce it in September. Now, availability, it could be the same month or it could be following into October. And what's the price going to be? Well, it's expected to be below $1,500 according to Sony rumors, which tells me it's probably going to be something like $1,497, $1,498 or something like that. So essentially $1,500. Now what's really interesting is the competition. So is this camera right for you? As I said at the beginning, if you don't like what Canon has to offer and if you don't like what Nikon has to offer, then you really want to take a look at this camera. You want to keep it on your radar. There's not enough information in this video. There's definitely not enough information here for you to be able to make a decision, but there should be enough to have you at least hold off a little bit and wait to see what Sony has to offer. Like I said with the video side, 4K 24, 30, and 25, even with high compression, can turn out to be pretty good, but does it have a crop? And if it has a crop of 1.7 or 1.6 or something like that, that's significant enough, and that's where the competition is. So let's look at the competition. We have the Nikon, what is it? The Nikon Z5. We have the Canon. There's kind of two cameras here that compete against this. There's the Canon RP, which is their entry level. And then we have the Canon EOS R. And the reason why I mentioned the Canon EOS R, even though it's around $1,700 right now, this thing does go on sale and we are expecting a price drop from Canon. So I would say that the EOS R is a better candidate than the RP if you're looking at an entry-level camera, but then again you can get the RP quite a bit cheaper. But both of these cameras have a significant crop in 4K, and 4K is considered a little bit soft. But at $1,500 is shaping up to be a solid entry-level price point for full-frame mirrorless, with of course the exception of the RP, which is a little bit cheaper. And if you go into the used market, you can really save quite a bit of coin here. So is this camera right for you? Well, as I've said in the past, you really got to take a look at what are the capabilities you're looking for in a camera. It's very important to do this. In my video on the Canon 90D and the 8Ti, no, it's the T8i, I always mix that up. Take a look at that video and I identify what capabilities I looked for in a camera, and I use those to help me decide to get my replacement camera. And when you do that and you take the time, take a week, take a day, however long it takes you to do, and outline the results that you're looking for in a camera. Chart them out, use PowerPoint or Keynote, and clearly label them out. Don't have a huge description behind each one, but just simply things such as high detail in 1080, high detail in 4K, image 8 stops of image stabilization, for example, right? So those sort of things. And then what you can do is you can take each of these cameras, you can take the Z5, the RP, the R, and the A5, and you can line them all up on a spreadsheet or in a PowerPoint presentation, and you can give them different colors, 3 different colors like red, orange, and green. Traffic light symbols, I know you'd think I'd remember that. And if it does really, really well on a capability, give it green. If it does poorly or it doesn't have that capability, give it a red. And if it's somewhere in between, it's decent enough, give it orange. And then what you'll do is you'll create a visualization that helps you identify which one's best for you. But of course, if you have Canon glass, then you're probably going to want to stick with the Canon offerings. If you have Nikon glass or Sony glass, you're going to want to stick with Nikon or Sony. It makes a lot of sense because you have a lot of money invested in these lenses. But if you're lucky enough not to have any investments in either, well, what you really want to do is you want to think long-term in terms of a roadmap. Yes, this might be the camera that's right for you now, but looking down the road, which company is going to provide you with better cameras that you might want to go into 5 or 10 years down the road, because you're going to want to migrate those lenses with you. Now, onto the Canon front. We have 4 prime Cine lenses coming to the RF mount, but also the EF-M mount and the EF mount. Let's take a look at the 4 of them. These are from Samyang. It's the Samyang Cine Prime 24mm T1.5, the 35mm, the 50mm, and the 85mm. And thanks to Canon Rumors for bringing this to our attention. So it's good to see more lenses on the RF mount. It's still a relatively new mount. It's only been out for a couple of years. But there is a huge lens inventory for you. You can take all the EFS and the EF lenses, and through the use of a simple adapter, I don't have it here because it's on the camera right now, you have access to a huge inventory. The only caution I would give you if you're looking at shooting for video, you want to get the newer lenses because some of the older lenses, that focus motor is very loud. But if you're a photographer, you've got access to a whole deep inventory of lenses. I think the last time we counted, there was about 107 EF and EF lenses, so that's huge. And I think we have around 10 or 11 currently right now, with 2 more about to come out. I think we're having the 70-200 f4 and the 50mm f1.8, and those are due to be announced very shortly, so a good decent amount of lenses. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. If you'd like a chance to win the Canon EOS R5, simply subscribe to my channel. That's it. More details can be found in the description down below. Thanks for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.